from Jube 2. And Christopher, can you maybe tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do, introduce yourself, and welcome, of course.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, everybody. My name is Christopher Darryl. I'm born and raised Calgarian entrepreneur. I started out an entrepreneur about 5 years ago, I would say, and yeah, I've started multiple companies in Canada, entrepreneurs, startups, and business owners.
Sorry, it cut out there for a minute. You've multiple businesses in Canada or Calgary, or
yeah, we started off in Calgary here, but we've grown, enough that we were able to offer our services straight across Canada now, and then we'll probably we're going to make that shift into the US as well.
So I just realized I forgot to introduce myself. So Rebecca Cramer, of course, from Loud Marketing. And so the people that I usually connect with are small business owners, maybe salespeople, maybe people in marketing. Is there I guess from your perspective, what do you do as far as your business goes, or who do you support? What's your audience?
So we made, well, I'll start with a little bit with Juju Business Builders. That's the umbrella for several different platforms. And we really built this business with so much diversity that we could really target audience, small businesses, startups, established businesses, even salespeople for that. We wanted to design a company that was basically a one-stop shop for anybody, no matter what stage of business they're in, and no matter what industry they're in or what demographic they're in.
For sure. So what have you noticed? I guess there's been lots of changes that have happened with COVID. Obviously, it's impacting small businesses especially. And being that you work with small businesses specifically, is there anything that you've seen that's been a trend, or anything that you've seen that's been positive, or something that people could build on?
Yeah, there are tons. What I love is that the community of entrepreneurship and business owners are really coming together to collaborate and really support each other and help each other out. That's one of the biggest, positive impacts I've seen with entrepreneurship and business owners here right now. The trend obviously now is Zoom, and doing all these events digitally, which is great. But I'm such an extrovert that I love having my events, public and live, and have that person-to-person interaction. But it's really tough, I find, for entrepreneurs, business owners, startups, whatever, to decide what event online is going to be the best for them. And if they have an actual hour to, spend with that, and then find it wasn't the right fit, because it's so saturated now with all these events here that it's really tough to do that. So I find that that's a little bit hard. And, with the people that I mentor and that we work with and that are part of our community, I'm really big advocate on pushing the phrase pivot, don't panic.
Mm-hmm.
People, are like so scared, like, oh my God, we're going to lose it this way. But this day and age, with the availability of how much or how many resources there are out there for people to have other streams of income that alignment with the current business they're in. This is the time I find to flourish for it. You can have specific add-ons to substantially grow it. And this is the time to start really networking and collaborating and building those partnerships, so that when the C word is lifted, and everybody's going back to normal, that we're that much stronger.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the things that you focus on is, building the network and, connecting people. And you mentioned events. Now, obviously, events have changed. You've done events in the past, pre-COVID, and you've done events, or have you done any events since COVID has been on, and how has that changed?
So yeah, so we've always held events. We've been doing it for 2 years for, again, that same group of people that we said, entrepreneur startups and business owners doing live. And we had a great attendance here in Calgary. 100 to 120 businesses would attend a month. We'd have fantastic speakers. So we, gaining quite momentum shift onto online. And, is the good thing that, I still had all my speakers I could collaborate with, and I could host their events and, still bring them my audience. But I came up with a little bit more of a solution. I've been in sales my entire life. And I find that if you can't pitch your event in 20 minutes or pitch your product and retain those people, then don't be selling, really, to be honest with you. We came up with events, which we do online, where that speaker really engages with them, and then the audience has that option to contact them after, and kind of leave the audience with wanting more of what they're doing. That way it frees up the speaker's time, it frees up our audience time, because it's so busy now. Everybody's scrambling to get their business out there. So we are going to go live and do a live event on December 9th in Calgary.
In person, right?
In person, yeah. We got a fantastic speaker, Jay Fizette, which a lot of people know. But we're following all the protocols. Like, at each table, there's a thermometer with a screen that shows your face and reads it. every half hour, if you leave the room, you got to check that. So we're 6 feet away, table 6 feet away, and just going to make sure everybody's wearing masks. And we're going to try it, because people need that human to human interaction now. We're all really missing it.
So how have you been able to see success, though, with your virtual? Actually, so we'll pause that question. We have a question in the chat. So Jose says, with the current landscape COVID, how effective is virtual okay, so perfect. How effective is virtual networking versus in person? Follow up, how is the best way to communicate? And yeah, here it is. Sorry, I'm trying to show it and it's only showing part of it. So what's the best way to communicate online and create value so it actually works?
Well, you know what, and it's content, right? And the deliverability of the speaker that are going to actually, not have a super high ticket item price that's, to help grow your business, that they're actually adding value into building that business. That's what we really strive to do, with our speakers. And as for the networking part, I mean, in our events, we open up breakout rooms so that people can network before the event, at least half an hour or 45 minutes, so they can still be able.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and we've often opened up like a Zoom all day so that people can come in, and we'll open the rooms up, say from 1 for people to network, from 8 till 9, 3 times during the day, but that room's always open. They can come in, because if you leave it open, people leave and come. Yeah. But we tend to get more people in there, and we don't do it for any monetary gain, to do anything like that. We just really want to see these people being able to interact without, person to person, but it seems to work out really well, but with those breakout rooms.
Yeah. I've done the breakout room thing. We actually do, we have a Zoom call every day where we break people into breakout rooms to do role play. But I haven't ever heard of, a breakout room being left open for people to join, but it actually makes sense. It's like having a networking coffee or something like that.
Well, it is. And you know what? We open it up all across Canada, so, I mean, we get people from Montreal, Vancouver, Toronto, Winnipeg that can, communicate with people in Calgary and stuff like that. And it's really neat and really nice to see people linking arms in a digital sense. I just hope it doesn't catch on so well that that's what everybody wants to do. But, we're human, so I don't think that, it really will. But, I mean, there's a lot of beneficial factors to doing the digital way.
For sure. I think it's huge for my own business, because I can look after businesses all over the world, it has made the world a little smaller. So it's made things easier for me to be able to do business with people in other countries. So it's definitely benefiting me for sure. But it's interesting that you're doing both a lot, like in person versus Zoom. So that's definitely interesting.
We're going to take a shot at it. Like I'm very cautious on making sure that everybody's health is, that comes first to these events. Like I know some people aren't going to agree with it and want to be able to be in a room with, a bunch of people like that. But I mean, if it's like going to Earl's or, somewhere for dinner here, you got to follow the exact same protocols, except we take it a step further and make sure everybody's scanned when they walk in and, take their numbers, not for a gain, a monetary gain for us or beneficial gain for us, but that if somebody did contract something that, they would be able to be contacted. So we're going to give it a shot. And, we may not get the attendance that we're used to, but if we start that trend coming back here and people are starting to feel comfortable, then we'd be more than happy to keep facilitating that every month. For sure.
So have you, because you do, your clients are small business owners and you're really in the mix talking with them on a regular basis. Is there anything that you've heard that seems to be like something that keeps coming up as a concern related to business and the way things are right now with COVID?
Well, I mean, the biggest concern is the restrictions, right? Like I'm really seeing the restaurants and pubs really taking a huge hit on that, and spa services and stuff like that. And sorry, could you go back to that question? So you were asking me, what
No, I was just asking you if there's something that keeps coming up that's a challenge with small business owners.
Yeah, and that's, finding clients, but I'm not seeing a huge challenge in our community because we're all very like-minded. We're all extremely driven 0 to 1,000 in 2 seconds. And, like I'm seeing most of the people putting on those horse blinders and not paying attention what's happening with the media and the news and finding different resources to bring bring business back into them. But the biggest challenge is people are not knowing exactly where to go again, like with the events, like which one should they attend online or which ones are the best for them or who they should be collaborating with. And I find a lot of people are just, hitting friend requests on LinkedIn or on Facebook or Twitter, like just hitting everybody. And that's okay if you have a business that you can target everybody. But if you're targeting somebody and you keep hitting everybody, you're just going to saturate your contact list with people that are not there to be or going to be able to help you, or you're not going to be able to help them. So I'm finding people are just kind of like when you open up the gates to a cattle herd, you know what I mean? And they just go running in all different directions.
Yeah. Also, that will affect, like if you're posting things, that will affect your engagement if those are not the right people for you to be connected to.
Oh, for sure.
Just as a side note. If you were going to give advice, so I'll agree with that, with the online events situation, because there are so many now, so many. Like what kind of advice would you give to someone who's a small business owner who maybe is, having a hard time with COVID, who hasn't pivoted, who hasn't adjusted? What kind of advice would you give, like specifically when it comes to events to focus on or attend, but also when it comes to, other things related to what they could do to kind of get their business back on track?
You know what? Reach out. I was always, someone who never asked for help. I always tried to do things myself because I never thought anybody could do anything I could when I set my mind to something. But the biggest thing is ask questions. Social media, people, I always find, like, especially like Facebook, you post something with 2 kitties playing. Everybody wants to see that, but you post about business and you don't get that same engagement. People get frustrated, like, oh, this isn't working. But you know what? Ask a question. Can somebody please help me what they've done in their business to be able to succeed and fight through this whole, pandemic thing, and put a poll out there and see what other people are doing, because if it's working for them, chances some of that stuff you take from there is going to work for yourself. So my biggest advice is to reach out, ask those questions to anybody.
Totally agree. Totally agree with you.
So many people they're out there to help. I mean, I've never met a person get pissed off at me or say anything for me saying, "Hey, would you mind helping me with something?" You know what I mean? Like, and what's the worst they could say? No, sorry. And what they're really going to say is, no, I'm not in that industry. I don't really know, and I've jumped ship or whatever. But most people will offer that advice. You'll probably get 100 posts in the first 2 hours.
Yeah. And when someone does post a question on social media and they get all that advice, all those people that are offering advice are helping them, but they're also getting, visibility, right? So it benefits everybody.
Absolutely.
To be posting questions, especially.
There's so many resources, Facebook, LinkedIn is my number one, that I really care for. But Facebook, there's so many groups. You type in the word entrepreneur and you can join all these groups and ask all these questions. Yeah. And there's so many like-minded people out there, and it's a lot easier than the way that it used to be, showing up at a networking event, and, there's just, I just find digital right now is the best advice I can say. And, figure out your target market and search it up. And, on your social media avenues and see who's in there that's, doing the same thing as you, and start collaborating and asking questions.
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree with that at all. Not at all. Okay. So question for you. What are you the most excited about, for the next 6 months? What are you the most excited about, for business, for your business, but for your business specifically, but also business in general?
Well, I'm just excited to see all the new businesses that are going to come about. I'm sad to see a lot of the businesses that have gone under or had not been able to go. But I'm such an optimist optimistic when it comes to all this stuff here, that those people who've lost their business are going to find something that they're really passionate about, that they want to do, and start fresh and be able to come out new, and have all these resources. So I'm excited to really see that. Without being selfish or anything like that, I'm really excited for the business we started, because we just are launching a business here in December that is geared towards these businesses that, that don't have the capital that they used to have to be able to, for marketing spending and being able to hire staff or be able to get themselves out there. So we're really excited, I say I and we are all really excited for our launch coming up to be able to give back to the entrepreneur community.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's so important, really, for entrepreneurs, especially on a regular basis as an entrepreneur. Sometimes not sometimes, regularly it's challenging. You're on your own. You maybe have a team, maybe you don't have a team, and you're just trying to figure stuff out. Right. And now we're thrown into COVID with oh my gosh, now what? But I agree with you that I feel like the next 6 months, there's definitely going to be opportunity. I think that we'll see people kind of settle into what this has created for a new norm. I think that even when things maybe go back to normal, we'll still have, we'll still be set in our ways. We'll still have all the online networking and all the, digital communication. So I think that, I don't know, I'm definitely excited for that. One more chat here. I see that Chris has a relationship with the Wolf of Wall Street. What's his opinion on famous mentors like Jordan Belfort and Grant Cardone? Well, I am a Cardone. We're currently taking Cardone University on our team, so I'm partial to that one. 10x.
Awesome, and we're looking to offer those services as well. Yeah, there's a Jose there that asked that question. Yeah, relationship with Jordan Belfort, the one that Leonardo DiCaprio played on Wolf of Wall Street. I really like that guy. I mean, I don't like what he did in the past, you know, like, I mean, he took advantage of a lot of people. He paid his dues, you know, and he, you know, he's still in the payback phase and stuff like that. But, you know, the guy's a fantastic salesman. And now that he's back out here, it's the relationship him and I have come to where he is actually a joint venture partner with my business, offering his sales training to our entire community. And
very cool.
he's basically teaching you how to close a sale within 4 minutes, you know, and our community, with which I'll get into later with Jube2, is you know, like, people get discounts, substantial discounts on these services here. So but yeah, having that relationship with those guys and mentors is it's actually an honor, you know, like, it wasn't easy to build those relationships. But the more persistent you are and the more you want something, you can get it, manifest it, right? Like, Nike said it best, but my dad said it better. You know, if you want something, just do it. And it might not be easy doing it, but just do it, you know, and to build those kind of relationships with people isn't as hard as one would think. For
sure. And I think sometimes, like, first of all, just show up, like, just do it, just show up. Exactly. And I think what people take from these guys like Grant Cardone and Jordan Belfort, you know, they're experts at what they do. And sometimes we're in our own field and we're experts at what we do, and we forget about the sales aspect of it. And truly, there's sales in everything that we do, even if it's everything, you know, a conversation. Exactly. And so being able to be reminded of, you know, what you're supposed to do next in order to, you know, help yourself be successful, right? You know, I think it's just a better way to communicate, for sure.
Yeah, being in sales, like, you know, like, I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and actually their children were around, and they asked if I sold stuff, and I said I sell stuff every single day, 24/7, and it's not that you're selling something, you're selling yourself every day, whether you're single and you're trying to get in a relationship. Oh, there I am.
Oh, there you go. Sorry, you cut out there for a minute.
Yeah, but every day you're selling yourself. It doesn't matter too. You know, like, you go to Home Depot and you buy something, you know, like, you're selling yourself as a person, as a consumer. Like, you're selling yourself in a new relationship, a new friendship, a new networking event, and, you know, just absolutely everything. So I always strived on myself to be a genuine social chameleon. I can adapt to anybody in a room and genuinely, you know, feel and listen to them and be able to communicate with them.
Exactly. And that's, I mean, that really, it's not just in a business situation. You're absolutely right. It's friendships, it's everything, for sure.
Be considerate and be yourself, and have that empathy and that respect for others, and you'll have no problem growing a business. And, you know, like, so many people have asked me, how did you start this business, or what is your business built on? And I sense, street smarts, and that's basically it. And the respect of others and listening is one of the things, right?
And one last question for you, Christopher, before we end the live. What are you the most grateful for in your life right now? Oh, I know that's a hard question.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I'm grateful, like, I mean, for probably the most things that most people are, you know, and that's, you know, my health, for one. Like, my family battled cancer, you know, not that long ago, and, you know, that was a really big eye opener for it, that, you know, you can lose the closest people to you. Thank God I didn't, and they're in remission, and they're stronger than hell, man. Like, it's unreal. I'm grateful that I got to carry on the traits of my parents, you know, and my peers and my friends and my girlfriend and my daughter, especially, you know, seeing her starting a business now. But I'm grateful that I take care of myself and being healthy and being able to do the things in life that I've always dreamed of doing and wanting to do.
That's exciting. Congratulations, Christopher from Jube2. Thank you so much for being on today. Again, I'm Rebecca Cramer, and If you love this video, please make sure you like and subscribe. And also on Facebook, I have a Facebook group that I would love for you to join. It is Growth Masters, and I'm going to put the link below. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM. Christopher, thanks so much once again, and we'll talk to everyone next week. Thanks so much.
Thanks everybody who came out here, and yeah, thank you again so much, Rebecca. It's been an honor to be on your show, and I look forward to building this relationship with you guys and working together.
Wonderful. Thanks.